The Great Hall of Nexus Station had stood for 10,000 years. Its walls were made of living crystal that glowed with soft blue light. The ceiling rose so high that clouds sometimes formed beneath it. 12 species had built this place together, and for all those years, they had ruled the galaxy from these ancient halls. Today the hall was full. Representatives from all 12 elder species sat in their designated places, arranged in a perfect circle. In the center stood a platform where speakers could address the council. The air smelled of different atmospheres mixed together. Each section of the hall adjusted for its occupants. Ambassador Telos of the Vendra rose from his seat. His body was made of purple crystal, and when he moved, he made soft chiming sounds. The Vendra were the oldest species in the council. They had been traveling between stars when most other species were still living in caves. They believed this gave them the right to lead. "Fellow council members," Telos said. His voice was cold and clear like ice breaking. "I come before you today with a warning. A threat grows in our galaxy. If we do not act now, everything we have built will be destroyed." He waved one crystalline hand, and images appeared in the air above the central platform. Star maps, population charts, growth projections. 300 years ago, we made first contact with a species called humans. They came from a small planet orbiting an ordinary yellow star. They were primitive. They had barely learned to leave their own world. We welcomed them into the galactic community. We gave them star charts. We traded technology with them. We believed they would be grateful. Telos paused. The crystal plates of his face shifted into an expression of disgust. We were fools. The images changed. They showed human colonies spreading across the galaxy like drops of ink in water. 43 star systems, over 200 billion humans. And the growth was not slowing down. In 3 centuries, they have spread farther than most species spread in 3,000 years. Their birth rates are 4 times the galactic average. They adapt to any environment. They learn any technology. They are like a disease, and they are infecting our galaxy. Murmurs spread through the hall. The Keth representative, a massive creature covered in armored scales, shifted uncomfortably. The Uri delegate, whose body was made of flowing liquid metal, remained perfectly still. "This council has faced such threats before," Telos continued. "We know what must be done. I propose the Containment Act. Humanity must be restricted to their home system. All human vessels outside Sol must be impounded. All human colonies must be evacuated. We must act now, before it is too late." The debate that followed was short. Most council members had already made up their minds. The Vendra had been warning about humanity for decades. The evidence was clear. The math was simple. If humans continued to grow at their current rate, they would outnumber all other species combined within 500 years. One by one, the representatives voted. The Mora voted yes. The Silth voted yes. The Vendra voted yes. Only the Uri voted no. "This is a mistake," the Uri delegate said. Her liquid metal body rippled with agitation. "We are acting out of fear, not wisdom. Humans have done nothing wrong. They have broken no laws. They have started no wars. We are punishing them for simply existing." "We are protecting ourselves," Telos replied. "Surely you understand. Your own species was nearly destroyed by unchecked growth. The plague wars killed billions of your people. We are trying to prevent such tragedy by creating a new one." But the Uri was alone. The final vote was 11-1. The Containment Act passed. A door opened at the far end of the hall. A human woman walked in. She was small compared to most of the beings in the room. Her black hair was pulled back in a simple style. She wore a dark blue uniform with no decorations except a small flag on her shoulder. Ambassador. Una Park had served on Nexus Station for 15 years. She had learned to speak 9 alien languages. She had negotiated trade deals, resolved disputes, and built relationships with dozens of species. She knew how the council worked. She knew what this summons meant. She walked to the central platform and stood straight. She did not bow. Humans bowed to no one. "Ambassador Park," Tella said. The Council has reached a decision regarding your species. The Containment Act has been approved. Humanity is hereby restricted to your home system. You have 1 standard year to evacuate all colonies and recall all vessels. Failure to comply will be considered an act of war against the Galactic Council. Yuna listened. Her face showed nothing. Any ships found outside Sol after the deadline will be destroyed, Tellus continued. Any colonies that refuse to evacuate will be removed by force. This decision is final. The Council has spoken. Silence filled the hall. Everyone waited for the human to react. To beg, to threaten, to cry. Humans were emotional creatures. Everyone knew this. Yuna took a slow breath. I understand, she said. Her voice was calm and clear. I thank the Council for informing me of this decision. I request 72 hours to communicate with my government and prepare an official response. Tellus had expected arguments. He had prepared responses to every possible objection. The human's quiet acceptance surprised him. Granted, he said. 72 hours. Yuna nodded once. Then she turned and walked out of the hall. She did not look back. In the corridor outside, her assistant was waiting. His name was Minho, and he was young and nervous. Ambassador? What happened? What did they decide? Yuna kept walking. Her heels clicked on the crystal floor. They voted for the Containment Act. We have 1 year to abandon everything we've built. Minho's face went pale. What do we do? Yuna reached a window and stopped. Outside, she could see the stars. Somewhere out there, 43 human colonies waited. Billions of people who had built homes, raised families, created lives on distant worlds. The Council wanted them to give all that up. We do what humans always do, she said quietly. We adapt. She pulled out her communicator and entered a code that only 5 people in the galaxy knew. A code that connected directly to Earth. Get me the president, she said. Tell him the Council has made their move. It's time to make ours. In the great hall, Ambassador Tellus watched the human leave. He felt satisfied. The threat had been contained. The galaxy was safe. He had no idea that the real game was just beginning. The message from Nexus Station reached Earth in 6 hours. By the 7th hour, President Do-Wan Lee was sitting in the underground command center beneath the capital city. The room was cold and gray, filled with screens and machines. This was where decisions were made when everything was at risk. Do-Wan was 63 years old. He had gray hair and tired eyes. He had been a soldier before he was a politician, and he still thought like one. He looked at problems clearly. He made decisions quickly. He did not waste time on things he could not change. Tell me everything, he said. Defense Minister Jisu Kong stood at the main screen. She was tall and thin, with short hair and sharp features. She had spent her career preparing for this moment. The Containment Act passed 11-1, she said. We have 1 year to evacuate all colonies and return all ships to Sol. After that, any human presence outside our home system will be treated as an act of war. Which means they'll destroy it, said Intelligence Director Taiwan Choi. He sat in the corner. A small man with round glasses who always seemed to know more than he should. The Council has done this before. The Rilani. The Morphe. Any species that grows too fast or becomes too strong. They contain them, isolate them, and eventually they fade away. Do-Wan nodded slowly. How long have we known this was coming? 57 years, Taiwan said. Since the Vendra first started talking about the human problem in closed council sessions. We've been preparing ever since. The president looked at his 2 most trusted advisors. Show me what we have. Jisu touched the screen and a map of the galaxy appeared. Human colonies were marked in blue. But there were other colors too, green, orange, yellow, networks of lines connecting them all. Every human colony has been built with redundancy, Jisu explained. Hidden factories, secret shipyards, backup power systems. If the Council tries to remove us by force, we can produce weapons and ships faster than they expect. We've been stockpiling resources for decades. But that's not our real strength, Taiwan said. He stood up and walked to the screen. Our real strength is this? He pointed to the other colors on the map. Green dots scattered across the galaxy. Orange clusters in the outer systems. Yellow lines connecting everything together. The Council thinks there are 12 spacefaring species in the galaxy. They're wrong. There are hundreds. But the Council only recognizes species that meet their standards. The rest are ignored, exploited, or contained. Dowan leaned forward. And we've been talking to them, more than talking. Taiwan smiled slightly. We've been helping them, trading with them, protecting them. For 50 years, we've been building relationships with every species the Council has rejected. He began pointing to different parts of the map. Rilani. They've been trying to get Council membership for 300 years. Always rejected. They're traders, explorers. They have ships everywhere. They've been sharing information with us for decades. The Morphe, shapeshifters, the Council fears them because they can look like anyone. They've been persecuted, hunted, forced to hide. We gave them sanctuary. Now they give us intelligence. We have Morphe agents on every Council world. The Keth warriors, the Council calls them too violent, too dangerous. We call them allies. We respect strength. They respect loyalty. We've been training together, fighting together. When the time comes, they'll stand with us. Dawan studied the map. So many connections. So many species. All linked together in a web that the Council couldn't see. How many? He asked. 17 species have formal agreements with us. Another 20 have informal ties. When the Council looks at humanity, they see one species. They don't see the network behind us. President Dowan was quiet for a long moment. Outside this room, billions of humans were going about their lives. They didn't know what was happening. They didn't know that the entire galaxy had just decided to erase them. It was his job to make sure that didn't happen. The Council is afraid of us, he said finally. They're afraid because we grow fast and adapt quickly. They think that makes us dangerous, doesn't it? Jisoo asked. Dowan shook his head. No, that's not what makes us dangerous. What makes us dangerous is that we don't stay alone. We reach out. We connect. We build bridges. He looked at the map again. The Vendra have been ruling the galaxy for 10,000 years by keeping everyone separate, divided, afraid of each other. We've spent 50 years doing the opposite. He stood up. Contact our allies? All of them. Tell them what's happened. The Council has made their move, and now we make ours. But I want to be clear about something. He looked at both of them with hard eyes. We are not starting a war. We're not conquerors. We're not going to become what they think we are. We're going to show them what we really are. And what's that? Taiwan asked. The future. A galaxy where every species has a voice. Where no one gets contained just for existing. Where different kinds of people work together instead of fighting each other. That's what we've been building. That's what we're going to protect. Jisoo nodded. I'll contact Admiral Sun-hee. She's at New Bizen with the 3rd Fleet. That's probably where the Council will strike first. Tell her to prepare defenses but not to fire unless fired upon. We need to be the ones responding, not attacking. The galaxy is watching. We need them to see who the real aggressors are. As his ministers left to carry out his orders, Dowan stood alone in the command center. The map of the galaxy glowed in front of him. So many stars. So many worlds. So many lives. The Council thought they were containing a threat. They thought they were protecting the galaxy from dangerous aliens. They had no idea that the galaxy was about to change forever. On Nexus Station, Ambassador Yuna was preparing her response. On New Bizen, Admiral Sun-hee was positioning her ships. On 17 different worlds, 17 different species were receiving the same message. The time has come, the Council had banned humanity. But humanity had never been alone. And now, finally, the galaxy would see what that meant. 72 hours passed. Ambassador Yuna returned to the Great Hall of Nexus Station. This time, she was not alone. Behind her walked representatives from species the Council had never allowed inside these walls. A Rilani trader with blue skin and 4 arms, a Keth warrior in black armor standing 3 meters tall, a Morphe diplomat whose face shifted slightly every few seconds, never quite settling on one form. The Council members stared. This was unprecedented. This was an insult. "Ambassador Park," Tella said, his crystal voice sharp with anger. "What is the meaning of this? These beings have no right to be here. This chamber is for Council species only." "Then perhaps it's time to change that," Una said. She walked to the central platform. Her allies stayed at the edge of the chamber, watching. Their presence was a message. Humanity had friends. "I am here to deliver humanity's response to the Containment Act," Una said. Her voice was calm but carried to every corner of the hall. "Our response is simple. We will not comply." The hall erupted. Council members shouted. Some rose from their seats. The Mora representative, a being made of living flame, actually blazed brighter with rage. Telos raised his hand for silence. It took a long moment, but the hall eventually quieted. "You refuse?" he said. "Do you understand what that means?" "It means war. The combined fleet of 12 species against one. You cannot win this fight." "Perhaps not," Una said. "But we won't be alone." She gestured to her companions. The Rilani stepped forward. "The Rilani Collective stands with humanity," he said. "We have traded with humans for 50 years. They have been fair partners and good friends. We will not let them be destroyed." The Keth warrior spoke next. Her voice was deep and rough. "The Keth Empire stands with humanity. They are strong. They are brave. They have earned our respect. We will fight beside them." The Morphe diplomat's face finally settled into a firm expression. "The Morphe Alliance stands with humanity. When we were hunted, they gave us shelter. When we were hated, they gave us friendship. We will not forget this." Una looked at the Council. 17 species have joined us. More are considering it. You can destroy us, but you'll have to destroy them too. Is that what you want? A war that burns across the entire galaxy? Telos was silent. His crystal face showed nothing, but Una could tell he was surprised. The Council had expected humans to fight alone and lose quickly. They had not expected this. "What do you want?" Telos finally asked. "We want change," Una said. "We want a new council. One that represents all spacefaring species, not just the ones you approve of. One where every voice matters, not just the oldest or the strongest. We want the galaxy to be fair." "Fair?" Telos made a sound like breaking glass. It might have been a laugh. "You know nothing about this galaxy? You've been part of it for 300 years. We've been guiding it for 10,000. You think you can do better?" "Yes," Una said simply. "We do." The debate continued for hours, but everyone knew it was pointless. Neither side would back down. The Council would not give up their power. Humanity would not accept extinction. Finally, Telos stood. "Very well," he said. "You have chosen war. You will have it." Una nodded. She had expected this. Hoped against it, but expected it. "We don't want war," she said. "But we will defend ourselves. And we will not be alone." She turned and walked out of the hall. Her allies followed, the Council fleet mobilized within a day. Thousands of ships from 12 species. The largest military force assembled in 500 years. Their target was the human colony of New Bisan, the largest and most important human settlement outside Seoul. Admiral Sun Hee-beek watched them come. She stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Horizon. Around her, officers worked at their stations, tracking the approaching fleet. The numbers were not good. The Council had 3 times as many ships, but Sun Hee had been preparing for this her whole life. She had studied every Council species, learned their tactics, identified their weaknesses. She knew how they thought. "Admiral," her communications officer said. "Allied ships arriving?" Sun Hee looked at the display. Rilani cruisers dropped out of hyperspace on her left flank. Fast, nimble ships designed for hit-and-run attacks. Keth dreadnoughts appeared on her right. Massive, heavily armored vessels bristling with weapons. Morphe ships. She couldn't see the Morphe ships. That was the point. All ships reporting ready, her first officer said. His name was Johann, and he had served with Sun He for 20 years. What are your orders? Sun He studied the display. The Council fleet was spreading out, preparing to surround the planet. Standard tactics, predictable. Hold position, she said. We wait for them to make the first move, and if they attack, then we show them what happens when you corner humanity. The Council fleet stopped just outside weapons range. For a long moment, nothing happened. Both sides waited. Then a channel opened. Tellus's crystal face appeared on the screen. Admiral Beak, he said. This is your last chance. Surrender your ships and evacuate the planet. Do this, and no one needs to die today. Sun He looked at him with steady eyes. Ambassador Tellus, she said. I have a counteroffer. Take your ships and go home. Let us live in peace. We don't want to fight you. But we will. You cannot win. Maybe not. But we can make sure you lose too. Is that what you want? To destroy us and cripple yourselves? Is that worth it? Tellus was silent. Your council has ruled for 10,000 years, Sun He continued. In all that time, how many species have you contained? How many have you destroyed? How many have you made disappear because they were different or because they scared you? Is that what civilization means to you? We protect the galaxy. You protect yourselves. There's a difference. The channel stayed open. Behind Sun He, her bridge crew held their breath. In front of her, the Council fleet hung in space like a wall of steel and fire. I'm going to give you something the Council never gave us, Sun He said. Time. Time to think about what you're doing. Time to decide if this is really what you want. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. She cut the channel. The standoff had begun. On the bridge of the horizon, Johann looked at his admiral. You think they'll back down? Sun He shook her head slowly. No, but I'm not trying to make them back down. I'm trying to make them think. And while they're thinking, the whole galaxy is watching. Every species out there is seeing this. They're seeing the Great Council threatening to destroy a planet full of civilians. They're seeing us standing our ground and refusing to shoot first. She turned to look at New Bizen through the viewport. 30 million people lived on that world. Families, children, lives. We can't win a battle, she said. But we can win a story. And sometimes that matters more. The two fleets faced each other across the void. The galaxy watched, and waited. 9 days. The standoff at New Bizen lasted 9 days. Neither side fired a single shot, but in those 9 days, everything changed. The galaxy had never seen anything like this. Two massive fleets facing each other, weapons ready, waiting for someone to blink. News spread from system to system. Species who had never cared about human affairs suddenly started paying attention on Nexus Station. The council members argued constantly. Some wanted to attack immediately and crush the rebellion. Others worried about the cost. The Keth ships alone were dangerous enough to destroy half the council fleet before going down. Was it worth it? And then there were the questions. So many questions. Why had the council tried to contain humanity? What had humans actually done wrong? Was it fair to punish a species just for growing too fast? On a dozen worlds, minor species started asking these questions out loud. The R'Lani had been asking for council membership for 300 years. Why were they always rejected? The Morphe had been persecuted for centuries. Why did the council allow this? The Keth had been called too violent, too dangerous. But the council was the one preparing to attack a planet full of civilians. The story Admiral Sun He wanted to tell was being heard. In the council chamber. Ambassador Tellus faced a problem he had not expected. The Uri delegate demanded answers. How many species have we contained? She asked. Her liquid metal body was agitated, constantly shifting. How many have we restricted or destroyed over the years? I want numbers. That information is classified, Tellus said. Then I will tell you. The Uri pulled up data on the main display. In 10,000 years, the Council has issued 47 containment acts. 47 species have been restricted, isolated, or eliminated because they were deemed threats. Humanity is number 48. The hall was silent. And here is another number, the Uri continued. Our own population projections? In 1,000 years, the Uri will have grown enough to trigger a containment act under current rules. We will be number 49. Now the silence turned uncomfortable. The Uri were a founding member of the Council. If they could be contained, anyone could. The humans were right, the Uri said. This system is broken. We contain species not because they do wrong, but because they grow strong. We destroy potential rivals before they can challenge us. That is not protection. That is murder. You go too far, Tella said coldly. I do not go far enough. And neither did the humans. On Earth, Intelligence Director Taiwan received urgent news. A Morphe agent embedded deep in Nexus Station had found something. Something terrible. They call it the silence, the agent reported. Her face kept shifting, a sign of stress. A gravity bomb. It can collapse a star into a black hole. They've used it before on species that refuse to be contained. They're preparing to use it again. On Sol, Taiwan said. Yes, if the standoff fails, if humanity refuses to surrender, they'll destroy your sun. Your entire system will be gone. Every colony you have left will be cut off, easy to eliminate one by one. Taiwan felt cold. He had known the Council was ruthless. But this was beyond anything he had imagined. Where is it? He asked. Hidden vault beneath Nexus Station. Heavy guard? But I can get you the location. Taiwan contacted President Dowan immediately. The president listened, then made a decision. We can't let them use that weapon. But we also can't just destroy it. If we do, we're the aggressors. We give them exactly what they want. Then what do? We show the galaxy what they were planning to do to us. Captain Junho Shin was the best special operations officer in the human military. He had led missions on a dozen worlds. He spoke 5 alien languages. He could fight hand-to-hand with a Keth warrior and win. He assembled his team on a fast stealth ship. Humans, Rilani, and 2 Keth volunteers who refused to be left behind. The Morphe agent would meet them at Nexus Station. The mission is simple, Junho told them. We get into the vault, we find the weapon, and we broadcast everything to the galaxy. Everyone needs to see what the Council was planning. And if they try to stop us? One of the Keth asked. Then we fight. But we don't kill unless we have to. We're not here to start a war. We're here to end one. The stealth ship slipped through Council security like a ghost. The Morphe agent guided them through maintenance tunnels and service corridors. They avoided patrols and disabled security systems. Hours passed in tense silence. Finally, they reached the vault. It was huge. The weapon inside was massive, a sphere of dark metal covered in strange symbols. Just looking at it made Junho feel sick. This thing had destroyed stars. Killed billions. Recording, his technician said. Broadcasting on all frequencies. Junho stepped in front of the camera. My name is Captain Junho Shin of the United Earth Forces. Behind me is a weapon called the Silence. It is a gravity bomb capable of collapsing a star into a black hole. The Council has used this weapon before on species that refused to be contained. They were preparing to use it on our sun. He paused, letting the words sink in. We came here not to destroy this weapon, but to show you what it is. The Council says they protect the galaxy, but they have been preparing to murder billions of innocent people. They have done this before. They will do it again unless we stop them. Alarms started blaring. They have been discovered. Every species in this galaxy has a choice to make, Junho continued, raising his voice over the noise. Do we accept a council that rules through fear and murder? Or do we demand something better? We choose better? We hope you will too, he cut the feed. Time to go, he said. The escape was chaotic. Fighting through corridors, dodging security forces, racing for the ship. 2 of his team were wounded. But they made it. As the stealth ship jumped to hyperspace, Jinho looked back at Nexus Station, shrinking behind them. The message had been sent. The galaxy had seen the truth. Now everything depended on what they did with it. At New Bizan, Admiral Sunhee received word that the broadcast had gone out. She allowed herself a small smile. Now we see what they're really made of, she said. On Nexus Station, Tellus watched the broadcast spread across the galaxy. Every species, every world, everyone was seeing the weapon. Everyone was learning the truth about what the Council had done, what they had been willing to do. He had protected the galaxy for 10,000 years. He had made the hard choices that others couldn't make. He had kept everyone safe, and now they were calling him a monster. In the Great Hall, the Council was falling apart. Species that had been loyal for millennia were questioning everything. The Uri were demanding immediate changes. The Mora wanted answers about the previous containment acts. The Foundation was cracking, and Telos realized, for the first time, that he might not be able to stop it. The broadcast of the silence changed everything. On 100 worlds, species that had been silent for centuries started speaking. They demanded explanations. They demanded change. They demanded to know how many of their own people had died to weapons like that, hidden in vaults, used against anyone who grew too strong. The Council tried to control the story. They called it human propaganda. They said the weapon was only for emergencies, only for true threats. They said they had kept the galaxy safe for 10,000 years, but no one was listening anymore. On Nexus Station, 5 Council species announced they were suspending their membership until a full investigation was completed. The Uri went further. They withdrew completely, declaring that they could no longer be part of a government that used such weapons against innocent people. Ambassador Telos called an emergency session. He stood before the remaining council members, his crystal body dimmer than usual. For the first time in his long life, he looked tired. "We must hold together," he said. "If we fracture now, chaos will follow. The younger species are not ready to govern themselves. They need our guidance." "Do they?" The voice came from the back of the hall. Everyone turned. A Morphe stood in the doorway. But not just any Morphe. This one's face was shifting rapidly, cycling through the faces of every council member. It was a message. A threat. A demonstration of how deeply the Morphe had infiltrated. "The younger species have been governing themselves for centuries," the Morphe said. "They've been trading, building, growing, all without your help. The only thing you've done is hold them back. And kill the ones who wouldn't stay down." "You don't understand what we've prevented," Telos said. "We understand exactly what you've done. We've been watching. We've been everywhere. You thought you could hide the truth, but truth finds a way out. It always does." The Morphe left as quietly as they had come. But their words remained. At New Bisan, the council fleet was breaking apart. Ships were receiving orders from homeworlds to stand down, to return, to wait for further instructions. What had been a united force was now a scattered mess. Admiral Sunhee watched them go. One by one, the enemy ships turned and jumped to hyperspace. Within 2 days, only the Vendra fleet remained. And even they were getting nervous. "They're requesting communication," Johann reported. Sunhee nodded. "Put them through." Telos appeared on screen. He looked different than before, smaller, older. "Admiral Beak, the Council has voted to suspend military action while we investigate the claims made in your broadcast." "It's not our broadcast," Sunhee said. "It's the truth." Telos was quiet for a moment. "Perhaps. We will investigate. In the meantime, there will be no attack on New Bisan or any other human colony." "And the Containment Act?" "Suspended. For now," Sunhee nodded slowly. "It wasn't victory, but it was a start." "Ambassador Telos, we never wanted to fight you. We just wanted to live. That's all any of us want." Telos stared at her for a long moment. Then the channel closed and the Vendra fleet turned away. The standoff was over. On Earth, President Darwan addressed the galaxy. His speech was broadcast to every world, every station, every ship with a receiver. 300 years ago, we left our home planet for the first time. We looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We found out we weren't. We found a galaxy full of life, full of different species with different ways of thinking and living. We were amazed. We were grateful. But we also found a galaxy ruled by fear. A galaxy where some species decided they had the right to control all the others. Where growing too fast or being too different was a crime punishable by death. Where the powerful stayed powerful by keeping everyone else down. We were told we were a threat. We were told we had to be contained. We were told to accept our place or be destroyed. We chose a different path. We reached out to others who had been rejected. We built friendships with species the Council had abandoned or attacked. We created a network of allies who believed, like we do, that the galaxy can be better than this. Today, we invite every species to join us in building something new. Not a council of elders who rule from above, but an assembly where every voice is heard. Not a government based on fear, but one based on cooperation. Not a galaxy where being different is dangerous, but one where it's celebrated. We know this will be hard. We know there will be disagreements, arguments, maybe even conflicts. But we believe it's worth trying. We believe that a galaxy where everyone has a voice is better than one where only a few speak for all. We are humanity. We grow fast. We adapt quickly. We make friends everywhere we go. Some call that a threat. We call it hope. The council banned humanity, but we're still here. And we're not going anywhere. The speech ended. Across the galaxy, species began to respond. The R'hllani were first. They announced they would join any new assembly that treated all species as equals. The Keth followed, declaring that they stood with humanity now and forever. The Morphi emerged from hiding for the first time in centuries, willing to be seen and counted. More came. Species the Council had ignored. Species that had been contained and forgotten. Species that had simply never mattered before. One by one, they raised their voices. Not everyone agreed. Some council species refused to accept change. They warned that chaos would follow, that the galaxy would fall into war and disorder without strong leadership, but more and more. They found they were speaking to empty rooms on Nexus Station. Ambassador Yuna met with the Ori delegate in a small chamber away from the Great Hall. "Your people have done something remarkable," the Ori said. "You have shaken the foundations of galactic civilization. Do you understand how significant that is?" "We understand that it's just the beginning," Yuna said. "Building something new is always harder than tearing down something old. There will be problems, disagreements, maybe even failures. Does that worry you?" Yuna smiled slightly. "Everything worries me, but that's never stopped us before." A year later, the first session of the Galactic Assembly convened on a new station built by humans, R'hllani, Keth, and Ori working together. 53 species were represented, not 12. 50-3. Admiral Sunhee was there as Earth's military representative. Captain Junho had been promoted and was now in charge of a new peacekeeping force drawn from all member species. Ambassador Yuna spoke first, welcoming everyone to a new era. "We are here because we believe the galaxy can be more than it has been," she said. "Not perfect, not without problems, but better, fairer, more open to different voices and different ways of living. That's what we're going to build together. It won't be easy, but the best things never are." President Dowan, watching from Earth, felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope, real hope. The Council had banned humanity. They had tried to contain them, isolate them, destroy them. It was already too late, not because humanity had conquered the galaxy. They hadn't. Not because they had destroyed their enemies. They hadn't done that either. It was too late because humanity had done what they always did. They had reached out. They had made friends. They had built connections that couldn't be broken by threats or weapons or fear. They had changed the galaxy, and the galaxy would never be the same.